This Could Get Dicey is an imperfect Dungeons & Dragons game played imperfectly. Like the name suggests, this podcast could get dicey. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Hello, and welcome to This Could Get Dicey, a D&D podcast where a group of buds get to unwind from their 9-to-5s and step into the world of Drew Gala. My name is Destiny Nieto, I play Loomis Bjorn, and before things get a little too dicey, I just like to say it's a beautiful day to do a little sleuthing.
Whoa!
Mystery!
A little mystery.
What sort of mystery you debunking right now?
So it's not the funnest thing, but I still kind of proud of myself for doing a little sleuthing. So I recently signed up for like one of those dog pet sitting apps just to make a little extra cash here and there.
Sure.
And someone reached out to me about potentially checking in, walking their pets. And I was like, oh, cool, customer, great. Convo is going well. We had a plan to like a meet and greet the animals. And then they were like, hey, send me your email. And I was like, it's for better communication. I was like, there's an app that we're using right now that sends you a notification on the app, emails you, and if you opt into it, texts you as well. Something is not correct. So I took another look at their pets' pictures, and like ever so faintly, there was like text on one of the pets' pictures. So I looked it up, and it was like an Insta famous dog that did not have the same name nor have the same name as the human.
Dang.
What's the scam though?
And that was the thing. I was like,
wait a second, what's the scam?
Is
I could
losing
just like Google your name and find your email address probably. Like what
Yeah, you
are they
probably
trying
could.
to do?
But I guess that's really dangerous because I mean,
Yeah, I provided myself from like, I sleuthed you, gotcha. But then I was like, damn it, now I don't have a customer. But then also I was like, how are you going to scam me?
I guess
When
if
you
they
were
take
the
the
one-
communication, they take the communication off the app. So like it's not in the app anymore, I guess. So like you can't like report them or something. I don't know.
I
To
guess.
potentially pay you under the table or pay a different rate. The only thing I can think of is like if this was like a famous person's dog, they were putting up fake ads on this ad to be like, cool, I want to like I don't want to advertise on this app that I'm this famous person that needs dog sitting to like a bunch of strangers. I want to
But it's the dog that's famous.
They're
not
doing
the human.
dog catfishing.
yeah, my head's going to that guy's trying to murder you or something like that.
Absolutely. Sketch. Completely sketch, not
It's
worth
completely
it.
sketchy. But you should report the profile for having a fake dog and
Yeah, I
stuff.
for sure did.
Oh
yeah.
man, what if they were the dog?
That's so weird though. Like what a weird
scam, right?
scam.
Also, just like if you're gonna use another pet's picture, don't pick the one that has its name on it.
Yes. I guess
That's not the name
for
of the
everyone
dog.
who's
Yeah.
trying to do this, be sure to reverse image search the dog or the pictures.
What kind of world have we come to?
Oh my god.
Jeez, glad you're okay.
Kind of, yeah, same. Kind of a bummer of a story, but I was like, ooh, my investigative journalism.
Hi, my name is Alex Villarreal. I play Ellis Vindove, and it's a beautiful day to be very, very close to a family of ducks.
Oh.
Physically or emotionally? Super close. Physically. Emotionally, it got there pretty high. We went to Barton Springs this afternoon to like hop to take a dip after we worked out, and like in Barton Springs, like there's always ducks there. Like there's like these two geese that are like in love, and I love them so much, that like hang out on like the road out of my neighborhood, and I oftentimes like will have to like slam on my brakes as they slowly like cross the road. But those are two geese. We're not talking about geese. But today at Barton Springs, there were two ducks walking through like the crowds of people with their little family of little ducklings.
Oh.
Just like super like super trusting. I mean, like I imagine all these ducks were born like literally there, so they're like, fuck it, this is like, we're party town.
They're
ducks.
just showing off their kids. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Did you take pictures?
And, like, Olivia did, because she has a nicer phone. But
yours can't even make stickers. That's right.
all right, we gotta stop poor shaming me for my phone. We should stop doing that. Anyway, did you know that there are several common names for a family of ducks? A flock, a bodling, a brace, a paddling, a plump, or a raft.
A raft is super good. Only when they're in the water,
Is
or
good.
Maybe only in the water, but I do like a plump.
I
of
like a
ducks.
plump.
what?
I think that one's
Very
my favorite.
good. Very, very cute.
The
Nothing like baby animals.
Paddlings? A paddling?
Yes, a paddling and a badling, or a bodling. Badling.
Wow. Cool.
A brace is a brace of ducks. That sounds very English.
Where are the paddlings?
Anyway, that's my fucking
Where are the
duck story.
paddlings, Annie? That's really cool. Hi, I'm Kenny Chilton, and I'm playing Emil Mazak, and it's a beautiful day to save a goldfish's life.
Oh.
Man, how to
What is
save
it?
a life, you know what I mean?
Was it one of your goldfish in your little pond thing?
Yeah, it's the goldfish in our pond right now. We're down to one goldfish. We had a chemistry issue last summer, water chemistry, and 2 of them died. But one has been kicking, and he's like really plump, super rotund fish. But goldfish can get this thing called swim bladder disease, where their body forgets how to be in the water, and it
What
floats.
the fuck? They're
It
fish.
floats to the top. Well, they have like a swim bladder that lets them be not buoyant. But when they have swim bladder disease, they are buoyant. They float upside down at the top of the water, and they look like they're dead, but they're not. They're still able to like swim around. Oh man, y'all.
How did
So
you
did you fix it?
Well, we
you,
haven't
like,
fixed it yet,
squeeze
but we're making good progress. So the things we've done so far, the pond water was clearly like needing a refresh. So I got a filter to attach to my pump that I already had, and this filter is like so cool. It's got like a pipe with a UV light bulb inside, and the UV light bulb like kills the microbial stuff and clumps the algae together, and then the water goes through a filter and it gets pumped back into the pond. So it, like in one day that like completely cleaned the water out, which was awesome.
Wow.
So now we can see through. We have a bunch of other fish in there. It's just this one goldfish who's not doing so well. But also apparently you can like feed your goldfish peas. Like you cook peas and then you skin the peas, and then you feed them to the goldfish. The problem
that's
is we
like their
needed the
medicine?
goldfish. Yeah, it's like it's like has a lot of fiber, so it helps them like pass everything.
Oh.
Oh, so
Anyway.
they're like constipated.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're like real bloated and constipated. Anyway, we just fed them the peas
feel that.
tonight, and we have to feed them by hand because peas sink,
Oh.
but the fish can't sink right now. It's just floating to the top. So Whitney's like gently holding it and feeding it by hand.
Do you have a name for this goldfish?
No, nah.
No.
The goldfish.
Well, it'd be weird to name that fish. We have like 100 other fish in this pond.
Oh, get
so-
naming.
I can't I can't name just one of them.
I just picture Kitty like fucking palm feeding this fucking goldfish, and then in the background it's just like, where did I go wrong? I lost a friend to win.
But we're pretty deep in investment wise into saving this one goldfish. So if it dies, I'll be ruined.
Dude, if you fall in love with this goldfish, we got a hit TV show on our hands.
We also have to name it. We gotta name the goldfish.
If it lives, we can name it.
Okay.
It can
I
be
vote-
a Patreon exclusive poll.
Name our
Okay.
goldfish. Yes.
I was gonna say I vote Alex, but you can
That'll be one
Patreon
of the options.
exclusive.
That'll
is
be one of
good.
the options.
Well, yeah, Alex would be there.
Hello, my name is Becky Schmader. I am the game master for This Could Get Dicey, and it's a beautiful day to make a homemade pesto. It's just all gonna be food related, y'all, from the garden. That's all I
I saw your post. What was the pesto made
It was
out
a
of?
carrot top pesto, so it was a mixture
Okay.
of carrot tops, some basil, walnuts, lemon, and garlic.
What does I don't think I've ever like tasted like carrot
It
tops
tastes like
before.
kind of like parsley,
Okay, just
or
like a nice herby, florally kind of.
herby, florally, but
fresh.
like very mild.
It's probably
Okay,
it's
I mean that's
yeah.
usually my problem with pesto is that it's like a little too strong.
Yeah, I don't like basil
All the
pesto,
herbs.
which is like the
Yeah.
the standard one. So this one sounds.
I think
better,
you would like
actually.
this. Yeah, I think you would like this. Mine was pretty lemony, garlicky, because I put the recipe only called for like a little bit of lemon juice, and I put a whole lemon worth of juice in, as well as lemon zest. So it was zesty.
Did you say garlic?
And some garlic, yeah.
Hey, not to put you on blast, but how's your tummy?
I did not eat it tonight because we're recording. It was fine yesterday. But I was like, night 2, can't take a risk on that, you know. So, but we did okay. I did not eat a lot of it. I ate like maybe a tablespoon's worth mixed into my pasta, and I'm like, but
It'd be
it
cool
was
for you to
pretty
like
good.
make a mystery jar of something for some of our Patreon subscribers. Like maybe you'll get a mystery jar of something. Pickled beetroot.
or like a chutney. Or
Or
Sure. Oh, a real garden mystery has occurred. I thought I had purchased purple pepper seeds for purple bell peppers, basically. Turns out that is not what I'm growing.
are they not?
They are not. Oh, I texted Olivia about this.
Yeah, Olivia mentioned you text her.
They are not. They are, I believe, Hungarian wax peppers.
Which sometimes they have Hungarian waxes at HEB, and when that one, I'm just like, that's like it was giving like
That look.
that vibe.
Yeah, it's
because
basically
those are kind of spicy, huh?
they're like a spicy banana pepper. I tried a
Oh,
little
cool.
tiny bit today, just to be like, am I, what's the vibe? And it was a manageable spice for me. It's in between like a jalapeno and a serrano, allegedly. I would say whatever I ate today was not even as spicy as a jalapeno, but
Okay.
you need to get a seed maybe.
right, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But
That's
yeah,
so
I think
cool.
I'll make like probably pickle them too, because they're not very like robust, very thin walled peppers. So
Okay.
not for like a salsa, but for pickling perhaps, or like I might make like a spicy pepper jelly to put on cream cheese.
Oh my
not a
god,
bad-
that
that's not a bad
sounds
move.
so good, Becky.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of what to do with my one, I guess now Hungarian wax pepper and my one jalapeno pepper, and a jelly might not be a bad move.
I
Just like a
thought-
very small amount.
I saw a thing where you could like really combo it. Like you could do like some bell peppers, some jalapenos, some spice. Like you could just put all the peppers together in a jelly, basically make like a confetti jelly, I guess is what they were calling it. So.
Might I suggest a thin spreading of that pepper jelly that you make with goat cheese and Gruyere on a grilled cheese sandwich?
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Kitty closed his eyes as he said that.
I really did.
I was like,
I was picturing it.
he's fucking bricked up right now.
I was also thinking of doing. I guess there's another word for it. There's like chow chow, or like a.
Yeah, chow chow.
But there's another. I think there's like that's like the southern thing for. But basically like
Are you-
a.
Are you talking about
relish.
like? Isn't it like? It's like starts with a GH and it's Italian. It's like I know.
Oh,
that
there's
it's
like.
I don't want to say the word because I don't know it. But
Yeah,
like
I-
you put it on like an Italian beef sandwich and
Yeah.
you put like chopped up pickled vegetables,
Yeah.
and I love it.
So you could just do that too with just a bunch of different peppers and some other stuff. So we're gonna get into pickling this summer, y'all. We're just gonna throw stuff in a jar, see what happens.
Come on, Destiny, come along for the ride.
I'll eat the things you pickle.
Good enough.
except for the pickles.
Except for pickles.
Sure.
Has anybody here ever had a pickled egg really quick before we play Dungeons and Dragons?
I have.
No.
I have had
No.
one. It was awesome. It was really good.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I've never had
It
one.
was very good.
And yeah, I like hard-boiled eggs and I like pickled things, but the idea of a pickled egg sounds fucking gross. But
No, it was really
I don't
good.
know.
It was really good.
You can get them at Buc-ee's.
Oh.
And I saw some at the Ren Fair, and I don't think you should get those ones.
That's where I
I
had
don't
it.
think
No,
so.
I had a sample at Ren Fair. Remember that booth they were giving out samples of pickled
Oh,
stuff?
I thought you only had the peppers.
No, they gave me a spoonful of egg. It might not have been the time that you were with me. I went to
No,
that
maybe
booth
not.
multiple times.
Oh my god, that booth! I was
I
like,
need
this is a questionable booth, if I'm honest.
It is. It's like you have to you have to look for it. It's
You have to
not
look
on
for
the
it.
path.
1, 2. It's like some random lady with a bunch of like open jars of pickled things,
She's
and you're
not
like,
in
how long
character.
have these been
Yeah.
open? There's not a glove in sight here. We're just grabbing utensils and tossing you stuff out of a jar. I don't know.
I'm growing more and more furious that I did not encounter this booth.
I thought we took you to it. My bad.
I need to find this booth next time.
Yeah.
God.
All right. Shall we play some Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
Yee.
Zarg.
Last we left off, our adventurers closed out their evening at Felicity Simia's home, and Ellis was greeted by Nanoxus in his dreams. Nanoxus let Ellis know that he was quite happy with how their relationship was progressing, and that he had much to learn, perhaps, in Ursa Anore. In the morning, the group reconvened after Loomis returned from the night out slurping up plants and headed out into the town to find Maria, a woman who had been here a while and was originally from Venzor. Emil sent his fingers into the dirt, searching again for the mysterious plant material, and following the trail was led to a house, and you all knocked on the door. Knocking on the door, you were welcomed in by Dade Bach and led to the kitchen where Maria Bach placed down a warm breakfast casserole. Confrontation arose, though, as you all learned that Maria was Emil's mother. Emil's... Thank you. Emil's typical disposition, broken with flares of anger, being confronted by someone who had abandoned him. We find you all still within the Bach kitchen. I must be honest, I'm not really sure how we kick this back off, because we surely left on quite the cliffhanger of a conversation. So... kind of the last note that I really recall was Emil basically asking, or basically making a comment about, are you gonna like leave, or like something about being left.
Ellis, want some coffee? I'm gonna take a coffee right now. I like it with cream. I'm gonna be honest. It's got to be fresh cream. None of the like old stuff. None for Loomis. Ellis, you want some coffee? I want some coffee. Let's have a chat.
Yeah, coffee sounds great. And I am like scanning the room back and forth to everybody. I'm like, should Loomis and I go get the coffee in the other room?
No. Stay. Let's all talk about this.
Okay, let's all talk about this.
I think Dade gets up from the table, and I think they had probably like a small like thing for coffee and tea and stuff, and he goes up to like refresh everything and bring it back down and bring some new cups for everybody. And you all are seated at the table. Dade is here pouring out coffee, kind of keeping quiet, as I think Maria and Emil keep some intense, perhaps. Or Maria's not intense, I would say. Emil's maybe is.
So, Mother, would you like to enlighten us as to how one abandons their child?
I will say, Emil, you've said that you have your own children. I don't see them here with us.
Yeah, no shit. We'll get to that in a second. We'll see if you really have any.
Let's talk about that. Why didn't you bring them all the way up here to Ursa Anore?
I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to get back to them. I took the necessary steps to make sure they were taken care of in my absence. You left me to the fucking orphanages and to the streets. You know how long I lasted in that orphanage? Not long. Less than 10 years, and then it was the streets for me where I was, fighting tooth and nail, stealing what I could, hurting people. What kid should have to do that?
I'm sorry that you had to do that, and I do think every day about the child I left behind in Venzor, but I also know that the trek from here to Ursa Anore 40 years ago was more perilous than it was for you all to get here, I'm sure. And I was alone. I did not have companions by my side. I'm no adventurer. So yes, I decided to leave you in Venzor and make my way to Ursa Anore to find answers and to find a place for myself in the world.
Well, you found it. It's quite a home. It's beautiful here. Lovely home, lovely community. It's all really nice. Very nice community you've built here.
Emil, when I left Venzor, I was not in the same state that you are in now. We've seen many people come to Ursa Anore in many different stages of Dreesblood. And quite frankly, the state that you're in is quite hideable. Would you agree?
Less so by the day, yeah.
Sure. When I left Venzor, I was unable to work anywhere. I was completely ostracized by my place there in Venzor. I could not work there. I could not live there. I had to leave. You are lucky that you are not in that state yet. Many people have to leave because they have no other way to live in their current homes or in their past homes. So they have to come here because they can't blend in.
I really take issue with that because it implies that the world itself is not malleable to my whims, and I have not found that to be true. I change what I need to change. I'm changing what I need to change now. You don't know what we've done in pursuit of fixing this so that I can break this cycle. I'm not going to abandon my children. My children are not going to have this disease. For you to say you had to go and there was nothing left to do, that there was no recourse, no way to fix this, how is it ever going to get better? We're just going to leave our children year after year, all of us Dreesblood, just generations of abandoned children. Nothing will ever change.
I left you. Yes, I did. And I regret that. I never went back. I will admit this. I do not regret not bringing you here, though. It is a dangerous trek for a child to cross. You ran into a dragon? I've heard news of this. What else did you run across on your way here? It is not a safe road here for a child. And yes, I did abandon you. There are many Dreesblood here who do not abandon their children and do bring them here. You seem fearful, quite honestly, Emil, of this disease. I am not. I came here and I made the choice to accept this disease upon myself. You can stop mutating while you're here. You can choose to put it on pause if you want and go into a state of dormancy. I chose not to. I chose to accept that this is what I am. So you fear it and you want change and you want to stop this disease, that's fine. But not everyone's like that. I find that this is more comfortable for myself. That this is what I want to be.
I don't want to be comfortable with this. Yeah, you've got that spot on. Becoming comfortable with what I am means that I'm dooming my children to a life limited to one area of the continent, that they don't get to experience the the pixies of the woods outside Mistfall. They don't get to see a vampire create a meditation circle in the woods. That they're just limited to this, to bartering for root vegetables and drinking watered down ale out of a communal barrel. Nobody's washing their cups in that longhouse. Like, we're limiting ourselves, our future generations, to this. I'm not comfortable with that, and we shouldn't be comfortable with that. You didn't have to bring me, but to not look back, to not get here and try to make something happen, to not think about that baby you left to figure this out on their own. This is not why we're here. Like I said, I wasn't trying to find you. Is there any hope for a cure?
I must admit, it's not a great feeling for you to come into our community here and immediately talk down upon our way of living. Let's just put that out there. You come from Venzor, it's a different lifestyle down there. I know. I was there once too. But that does not make this a small world that I've decided to live in just because we've decided to live this way. That being said, are we looking for a cure? Are there people looking for a cure? Is there a cure? We don't know. There are people who are doing research. There are people who have gone out and looked for a cure. We never hear from them again.
Where does this all come from?
I'm sure you've heard the same stories of the indigo magnolia. It is but a once season blooming tree in which there are flowers there. You can go and look for that yourselves within the Elder Woods, but people go, and we don't hear from them again, so.
No, I mean our affliction, our disease. Where does it come from?
That we don't really know either. The oldest of our community has been afflicted with Dreesblood for perhaps 100 years or so. I'm sure there are other people out there in the world who haven't made their way to Ursa Anore, perhaps on other continents. We don't know. You know, here in our community, there's about 200 or so of us, but we don't know. It feels like it's a genetic thing. Perhaps it is something that is some sort of recessive gene that gets passed along. We don't know. It doesn't feel like it's a disease brought on by there's nothing like I stepped in a mushroom and it gave me this disease. It is genetic is what we can determine, it seems.
Do you recognize this at all? I'll take out the coin of minor illusion and turn it into the black moss.
Everyone roll an insight check.
18.
Natural 20 for 22.
5.
Me and Loomis just like wide-eyed sitting on the couch, just like,
drink your coffee.
Yeah, I think this whole time, like, Dade and the two of y'all are just, like, rattling your cups a little bit, drinking the coffee. She says no. She's never seen that before. Loomis and Ellis, you know that she's lying.
She's lying.
Oh gosh, Loomis, you're really good. You're,
Well, I was not expecting that. I'm just gonna put that DM to players. I was not expecting that.
If I can interject here, I'm only interjecting because I tried to excuse myself from this conversation, but I am here. First off, Maria and Dade, thank you for letting us into your home. Unfortunately, Maria and Emil, I think we have a situation where there are a lot of correct statements being made right now, and unfortunately, Maria, you are a victim in this situation I mean, again, sorry, that's even rude for me to say. You don't see yourself as a victim. You made a life for yourself, and that's admirable. But Emil is the victim in this situation, and his anger is validated. I imagine you probably you thought your first meeting would be different, but as you can clearly tell, he is very determined to find a cure. If you know anything about this black moss and what it might do, and if it's any sort of help at all, we've encountered it before already, and we would be we'd be very grateful to learn any more about it, please.
And did you really not think this was coming? Like, did you never think you were going to meet me, or that I had, I don't know, succumb to the disease earlier? Were you expecting this? Because you don't seem ready for it.
I think after 40 years and admittedly putting a lot of that life behind myself, I think I stopped holding my breath for that moment. Did I expect and hope that one day I would meet you? Of course. I left that letter in the Mistfall Library as an archive in hopes that for sure other Dreesblood would hopefully see it, but also that perhaps, sure, my son would maybe see it too. So am I not prepared for that? Did I expect you to come in today, this morning? No, and I cannot live my life assuming that would happen every morning, but yeah, I apologize for not being prepared for this very moment. And Ellis, to your point, you're very much correct that Emil is the victim in this situation. I abandoned him, and I'm not saying that is the right thing or the correct thing to have happened, but it is what happened.
And I will just interject here to say that, like, this is probably like a larger societal problem that we have in our society where Dreesblood people aren't treated very correctly, and it's not fair that you didn't have the resources that you needed to live a life normally and you had to move to the north. That's all I'm going to say. But also, yes, thank you for validating my validation.
And to thank you, Loomis, for interjecting and letting everyone know I was lying. And to Alice, yes, this plant is not a cure. That I can guarantee. If you would like to know more about that plant, that might be a more difficult discussion for perhaps a different time.
Ellis chokes on his coffee when she says that this might be a more difficult discussion than the discussion we're having now.
Loomis says, more difficult than talking about the son you abandoned.
You know, you say that. Yeah, a lot of things coming in perspective right now in this moment, I'll be honest. She's gonna roll like insight on you, I think, Emil. You're the one who brought up the plant matter. I think she's kind of gonna just see if she can like read anything on you of like why would you bring this up kind of thing. That's a natural 20, so I don't know, I guess roll a like a just...
I'm trying to be straight-faced as much as I can. I'm trying to shift into more like mission mode.
Sure. I guess roll like a charisma check. You could do like a No?
3.
Oh, no.
Emil's drooling.
I think Emil's more clenching his jaw so tight that his like neck veins are popping out, and they look a little bit like ivy, like clinging to a tree, and his face is becoming a little red. Yeah, he's looking a little frustrated.
How do you all know of this plant?
Like I said before, we've done a lot to try and find a cure. It's come across our path. I know there's some here. Very close. I'll like look at Loomis because I know he'll be the one to like be more okay with this. And I'll go ahead and turn my hands into like my twisted roots, like sharp pointed twisted roots. I say, I know it's here, and I know it's not good stuff.
Do I see him?
Oh yeah, I am not hiding it. They're out in the open.
Loomis like starts to grab their, or like move their hand towards their spear for like a better grasp.
I think at this point, Dade kind of like speaks up. We don't have to. If you want to see the plant matter, we can take you to see it. But it is not a cure. It will not help you on this path that you are on. But we could certainly go see it.
What is it?
Quite honestly, we don't fully understand what it is.
Fuck! What do you know?
We do know that there is something that needs this plant. And we are feeding that to them. We are feeding the plant to them. That's what I said. Yes, that's what I mean when I say that.
You're feeding the plant to something?
To something, yes, that's correct.
Do you know what the something is?
I think we've spoken quite a lot today. I think you can either come see the plant, or it might be time for you all to leave.
Man, quick to kick out your own child. Like, I know this is like 40 times more than you've experienced in the last 40 years, but geez. I guess we'll go see the plant. I'll like pick up the coin of minor illusion off the table, and I'll shift it to look like the stone of far speech, and toss it to Ellis and say, "Can you hold on to this?"
As I catch it, I say, "Yeah," and then I message you, and in your head you hear, "Brother, I'm not even going to begin to comprehend your anger, but I do not want to bring this whole town down around us. These are the leaders of this town. We have to cool down a little bit, and I'm sorry to say that."
Do you not want to see this plant today?
I'd like, as I'm like catching the thing, I like turn to them and I'm like, "We would love to see the plant."
Okay. I think Maria's gonna stay up top, and Dade kind of like takes control of the situation a little bit. You remember that Dade has like very distinct tattoos like on his like temples, denoting himself as a like kind of a member of Service's followers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Can I turn to Maria if she's staying? Can I just turn back really quick before we walk out or whatever and say, I also want to apologize that my presence made things so difficult for you that, I don't know, you saw me as a curse maybe or something like that, but I want you to know your grandchildren, my children, they're not a curse. They're so good. They're everything that's right with the world, and they are the reason to make my own life difficult. And I really wish you had had that perspective. It would have made things a lot easier for me.
Do you like wait for a response, or do you leave, you think?
I'm just reading the room. I've said my piece. I'm just reading the room. If Dade's trying to leave right now, I'll go with him, but I will also listen to a response if she has one.
Okay. I never saw you as a curse, Emil. It might feel like that, but I never did. And, yeah, I think she kind of just, like, picks up her coffee and kind of just, like, remains at the table. I mean, this has been a difficult conversation for her to have, as much as it has been for you, and I think she kind of has to process some stuff. So Dade leads you actually like further into the home, and down to some like cellar stairs.
If there's one thing about tabletop role-playing games is that it brings out the actor. Tor in all of us. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. This could get dicey, making it all the way to episode 53. We are so grateful and thankful to have you here. We are especially thankful to one of our Patreon members, Carl. Thank you, Carl, for not only listening, but supporting our podcast, supporting our Patreon. It means the world. If you would like to become a member, you can visit us at www.patreon.com/TCGDpod. We got a couple different tiers, some different offerings, some everybody can enjoy. You can also check out our website, TCGDpod, Instagram and TikTok at TCGDpod. TCGDpod. Get it tattooed on the inside of your eyelid so you never forget. Thank you all for listening. Sincerely, it means the world. Let's get back to this emotional little episode.
Opening the cellar stairs, it brings you down kind of into like a similar basement situation that you were in the night before at at Felicity Simia's house. So bringing you down there, it has a similar sort of, like dirt walls and rock floors and stuff. And then he kind of like brings you like even deeper down into like another cellar door. So it's like a cellar within a cellar. And all three of you kind of as you go down to this, like as this second cellar door opens, all three of you roll a perception check.
17.
6.
23.
Loomis, I think you're kind of distracted for like just taking in the surroundings, and also like this has been a lot, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Loomis is also debating if he should have stayed up top with Maria.
Okay. But Ellis and Emil, as you all kind of descend further into this second cellar, you kind of feel like this wave of like unease pass over you. That's very similar to the feeling you had when you came across like the wood golem and the landlord, if you remember, in the forest, and kind of like a same feeling of like something very like ancient is sort of like alive here. Is sort of like the vibe that waves over you. And kind of like bringing you down into this cellar. You all walk for like a minute or two. It's a pretty deep like space that he's bringing you into, a long hallway, and at the end of it, it opens into a larger room. There's also like torches on the wall, so it's not just like complete darkness. And again, you see like another sort of shrine and another pedestal, very similar to what you saw in the forest. And they're kind of like coming out of the pedestal, or sort of like, I guess, going into the pedestal, and sort of surrounding it is the same plant matter that you all saw from the forest. And Dade kind of, brings you to this room, and with that same sort of perception check, Emil and Ellis, you're kind of like, you see like Dade stands like a little bit taller, like he's very like proud of this like space that he's brought you to. Like this is like a project that he's been working on perhaps, and this is something that he's like, all right, you wanted to see the plant, like here it is, sort of thing. And so he kind of like addresses the three of you as he brings you into this space. Yes, this is the plant that you all have seen before, I suppose, and come across, and here it is again. And yes, we are feeding something down here. We are feeding this plant to something.
To what?
A very old god is receiving this substance.
Service?
No, I suppose service is almost providing this plant for us to be giving to this god. And in helping service do this, service sees this as a way of sort of two birds, one stone, if you will.
You'll have to forgive my ignorance. I'm not particularly smart, but I've always kind of understood that the gods are kind of on somewhat level playing field, but the way you explain it makes it seem like service is in servitude to someone bigger and older.
That's a good way of putting it. Service is, in a way, more of a demigod compared to like a Siloria or a Themiska. They are, I mean, you all, I'm sure, have not seen very many followers to Service. He's a much less popular god, and so thus his powers are not as strong. But if we help Service, help this god, perhaps they will be equals again, yes.
Can you be any more specific of who this god is? A very old god? Do you know any more, or are you just blindly following Service's orders? I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I know more. I must be honest, though. You all are strangers here, and we do not know each other very well. I am apprehensive to give you all more information beyond this.
I know Dade's not Dreesblood.
Mm-hmm.
Is he strapped? Is he equipped? Is he a fighter?
Roll investigation, since you're like looking closer.
Investigation. A 21.
You notice like nothing seems, I mean, he has like a holy symbol, you notice like on his chest, and like, you know, he has kind of you know, even his like robes seem to be like embellished a little bit more with like antlers than other people. You would assume that he's some sort of like cleric perhaps, but he's not like I'm gonna pull out a battle axe and fight you kind of guy.
But I can tell he has some holy power.
Yes.
Some divine power. Okay. I'll say, that's fair. I am kind of your son, though. If that changes things.
Roll a persuasion check.
Papa.
Please, Papa, please tell us about
Papa.
the evil
It's a
guy.
natural 20. It's a 21.
No.
Natural 20 for a 21.
You would be my stepson, yes. I suppose that is a way to phrase that. Perhaps this is not the best place to, I guess, I mean, all of you feel like a certain level of like unease being in this space. Like this is something you all kind of like come across. And in fact, Loomis and Emil roll
Damn it.
wisdom saving throws.
I thought this might
quick.
happen. You and I were the only ones who were affected last time.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Wisdom saving
I
throw?
remember that.
Yes.
I'm not.
You saved, I think, Alice. Possibly?
Yeah. Alice was like running around like, I'm good. And they're like, let me stick my hand in this hole.
Yeah. I rolled a 5.
A 5.
16.
Okay. Loomis, I think you feel this like pull that's like very familiar to like the last time, but you're able to kind of like withstand it. And I think Emil, it's not the same sort of pull as last time, as in it's not as strong, like, but you definitely like, you don't feel good being in this space. Like you don't feel like if you were here much longer that you're going to be able to like keep this up.
Operate.
And I think Dade knows, you know, what this stuff is, and so he's like, I can tell you more, but I don't think this is necessarily the best place for conversation. We can go to Bear's laboratory perhaps, and we can speak with Bear and with Natasha. But you know, the three of us sort of you know, do more around all of this, and that might be a more appropriate place to have this conversation if you would like.
Yeah, I would really like to get out of here. The last time we were around this stuff, it also did not feel good, and it started trying to control us and stuff. And I'm starting to feel that way. Let's get out of here.
Oh, that's quite fascinating. Well, yes, please come on. And he guides you all back out. You come back up, and Maria's like has kind of like moved on to like cleaning up cups and the breakfast and stuff from your all's conversation. Do you all Dade's kind of just gonna say like, we're gonna go over to the laboratory sort of situation, unless you want to say anything else. Okay.
No,
I think Maria kind of...
I just walk straight out, I think.
Okay. So
Before...
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
before we leave this cellar, can I just do another, I guess, perception check or something just to see if anything else sticks out?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who wants to do that can.
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
No,
I don't think
I'm
I
trying
would.
to
I think I'm not feeling
I'm trying to
comfortable.
exit this house as quickly as fucking possible.
12?
12. I think the thing you can notice, Loomis, is that unlike the one in the forest one was like very like dilapidated, was very like these are ruins. This was like a very like found place. This spot that's kind of like in the cellar is like very like intentionally put here. Like this is very much like this is a nice piece of stone, or like, you know, this altar, this shrine, whatever you want to call it, is not here accidentally. It is very much like this was built here in this cellar.
Okay.
So you're able to get that. Otherwise, Dade kind of leads you back out into the town and down the street a little ways to another home.
Is Maria still in the home?
Yes, she's staying behind.
Okay.
Can I, as we're walking with Dade, actually, can I talk to him while we're out and about?
Yeah.
So whatever this god is that you're feeding, what do the Drees blood have to do with it?
Sort of, they're sort of helping, I suppose. Bear does a little research on the Drees blood, as well as gathers some resources from the Drees blood, and it's sort of a symbiotic relationship, if you will, I suppose. The Drees blood happened to be here, the Eyes of Service happened to be here, and then our goals sort of intertwined.
So perfect, so coincidental.
So coincident, very helpful, yes.
The first time ever that a minority has ever been drawn to a place to be used. That's crazy.
Yes. Very observant stepson.
Don't.
Son? Shall I just start there?
Dade pulls out a baseball in his pocket.
And Dade, did you know about me? Did you know who Maria was? Did you know her past?
Yes, I knew that Maria had a son, that she had left behind, yes. I also knew a little bit about, you didn't ask her about this, but about who your father was, so I knew a little bit about that.
No, don't, please don't. I didn't ask on purpose, because I can only handle so much bullshit in one day.
That's okay. Sure. Yes, I knew that. But yeah, we've been here, both of us around, we both got here around the same time, I'd say, and then have been together for about 20 or so years.
Wait, 20 years?
It was a slow burn.
Oh, like you've been together for 20 years, you mean?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I got you, okay. Well, I'm glad she had a shoulder to cry on when things were so difficult for her.
You seem to lack any sort of empathy for your mother, and that's fine. But yes, things were difficult for her.
Oh.
You guys are just staring at each other in the street. Like, we don't have to go to this laboratory.
Hold on. Sorry. I hate to interject here again. Now that we've established that this plant has nothing to do with a cure, this is just a fun fact-finding mission. So, yes, we would still like to go talk to that person about the research that they've done.
Bear. And Natasha, the historian, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I'll stop.
You're very lucky you have at least one charismatic friend. He looks at Loomis.
Don't you fucking dare talk to me that way. I give him a little shove.
Oh, fuck.
I know you're the head honcho or whatever, but you'll have to forgive me that I just found my estranged mother. I understand I'm a little emotional, and I think I should be allowed that.
You are allowed that. I'm also allowed to not do anything for you.
I look at these two. Do something about this guy right now. I need to stop.
Again, to repeat some of the things that I said earlier, I'm not trying to fucking sunny side up this situation. Hey, everybody, let's all just like take a breath for a second. This situation fucking sucks, and this is coming from me, and I'm speaking for Loomis here. We kind of have no bones in this race, and it still sucks. The fact of the matter is, I think I would like to know more about this plant. Me personally, I would. And I look at Emil, and I'm like, Emil, I'm sorry, but I want to know more.
Emil does the mouth zipped and throws away the key motion.
Great. Cool. I would say let's start fresh, but that's a stupid fucking thing to say. Dade, please lead us on in complete silence, and I promise we won't talk until we reach the destination.
Roll a persuasion check. I was gonna say maybe with advantage, but with Emil it's disadvantage, so it's a straight roll.
That's fine. 21. I can't roll lower than a 10.
Right, of course, I forgot.
Give me what I want.
Yeah, I think definitely the three of you, like, noticeably, like, I think Dade's been putting on this like disposition of like, you know, like, I'm just trying to be like a little chill in this like situation, but like after this sort of like, you know, he can only take so long of like someone not being empathetic towards his partner for so long before it's like, okay, dude, like, I don't have a relationship with you, I don't really care about you, sort of thing. So you then notice his disposition is kind of shifting to like that of someone who of like a higher like standing within the town, and he's like, okay, like, let's go to business. And he continues to lead you all to Bear's house. You all get there, and he just like enters, and you notice that the top of this building that you're at, it's all these buildings have like a house up top and then like a cellar down below that either people choose to live in or choose to live upstairs, sort of thing. And Bear's is sort of like the upstairs is like sort of a medical lab of sorts. It's sort of like a hybrid of like someone who's into like traditional quote unquote medicine and sort of more like holistic healing as well. So like there's tons of like herbs and salves, and then there's also sort of like medical instruments as well, and sort of like this hybrid of these two kind of coming together. And then you notice, so that's like the main room is sort of this like medical like lab area, and then there's like another room in the back that is more of like a couple desks and like books and like more of a study sort of situation. You all come in, and there's a very large humanoid with completely like gnarled body and bark kind of like growing all over his face. Draped across his shoulders is a big bear skin that he wears, hence the name. Half of his face is like completely wood with like bits of wood twisting upwards and out of his head, while the other half has what remains of his human face, a large like bushy beard and long brown hair twist out from the skin that's sort of joining the bark. He kind of welcomes Dade. Good day, Dade. How may I help you today? Bear, please, we have some new guests here in town, and they would like to learn a little bit more about Dries blood and sort of any sort of research you have done. Please be as helpful and clear as you can be. Also, is Natasha in? And hearing her name, an elven woman, sort of like of unknown age, sort of like pops out from like the study. There is like not a wrinkle in sight, like on her whole like face. She has tan skin and dark black straight hair. She sort of like pops out from the study and comes out. And, oh, I am here, Dade if you need me as well. And he kind of like waves at Natasha and is like, great, okay. So, yes, Bear and Natasha can give you some information that you might need, and I'm just going to put it out there just so that way to sort of simmer expectations that while Bear does a fair amount of research on this, there are not the answers that you are looking for, a cure. He does not have that, so let's just make sure that's clear for the three of you all. But he might have some other information that might be helpful for you all. I'm going to excuse myself, but Bear and Natasha, please take care of our guests as much as possible. If you need me, I will be at my home. And at this, I think Dade sort of just like bows out from the situation and is going to head back to his home, leaving you in this sort of lab space with Bear. And Natasha's here too, but she's sort of like lingering in the back a little bit to herself. Welcome. I'm Bear. That's Natasha. You are new here. You are Dries blood yourself. What is your name, sir?
My name's Emil.
Pleasure to meet you, Emil. Well, I'm sure you have plenty of questions. Can I see what I can answer?
Yeah, your assistance would be great. We are on a quest to find a cure for this, as I'm sure many have come here seeking before me. I know you don't have that, but we've seen and done quite a bit. Do you happen to know, like, what's the missing piece? Have you ever gotten close? I know the indigo magnolia has been some kind of key component in the attempts.
Close. We do think that the cold has something to do with the cure. Getting the genetic mutation into some state of dormancy, has to be some part of it. So coming to the cold obviously helps a lot, and the indigo magnolia being a winter blooming flower certainly would probably have some sort of cooling properties, one would think. So I think that's the general thread that people gather between the two. As you've come into the cold, have you felt yourself enter into any sort of state of dormancy or sort of more control over your abilities?
I have, very much so. I've felt it. Out there, I try to suppress it, and it leads to this awful sickness, this cough. And I have to kind of give in to the transformation in order to like put away that sickness. But here it's different. I feel like I am much more in control of my facilities.
That is good. Yeah, we've the problem with the indigo magnolia, as maybe you have heard, is that it exists within a very old and dangerous part of the woods. That's part of it. And then on top of it is a rare blooming flower. And then on top of it is a lot of just unknowns around it. So people often go to see if they can find the flower or go and looking for a cure. And we don't hear from them again because, well, we assume that they perish, unfortunately, within the woods. It is unfortunate that we have not sent a large party going to look for this indigo magnolia, but many of us have sort of stopped caring about a cure or wanting a cure.
Is Dade still here?
No, he left.
Okay, then I'll say, and I understand that there's quite a few mouths to feed here as well. Proverbial mouths in the ground.
Oh, yes, those mouths, yes. So you know of that. I think like hearing that, Natasha kind of like, you notice from like the back room perhaps like scoots her chair like a little bit. You like hear like the sound of someone like being like, oh, now I'm interested in the conversation a little bit, but she still doesn't leave that room. Yes, we the Drees blood has a particular quality about it that is valuable to the plant matter. It sort of helps sustain it in a sense.
Oh?
Yes, we there is blood is taken from many Drees blood, and then it is given to the plant, and then the plant gives itself to the proverbial mouth, as you so put it.
What? So for this plant to grow, Drees blood have to give up their blood?
It is not so much the plant could live without it, but it sort of for lack of a way better term, it is but a fertilizer or a boost of nutrients if of some sort to the plant. If the plant could, I'm sure it would perhaps feed on human bodies of some sort, but we don't do that sort of thing here.
Okay. I'm starting to understand why this community has been so welcoming to our kind.
Well, that would imply that the Eyes of Service were here first. They were not. It has been a community of outcasts for many decades at least. But the Eyes of Service came after many Drees blood had already settled here.
So why the decision to shift from a community of outcasts finding resolve in one another to serving some unknown ancient god? That's quite a shift.
Oh, Service isn't an ancient god. Service, or I understand, there's sort of two gods at play here. Many Drees blood find comfort within Service, perhaps myself included. You see, this is, in a sense, an act of nature overtaking our bodies. One might say that would be Service acting in a sense of retaking control, if you will. As Service is, of our grand final act for Service would be the eradication of all for the return of nature to everything.
That sounds
scary.
good to you, or?
Oh, well, I find that it's helpful to know that a god appreciates you embracing yourself, I suppose.
So, back to this indigo magnolia. I'm not going to touch that one. Have you ever had possession of one before?
I have not. It would be fantastic to get my hands on it, as I'm curious to know what it would do, but I have not been fortunate enough to come across it.
We are pretty capable. I'm pretty set on going to try and find it, but I'm a little reticent to help you, honestly, because you just told me a few minutes ago that you're not interested in a cure. But I know other people in the continent who are interested in a cure.
That is your prerogative. If you go and get the indigo magnolia, and you can choose to do with it what you want, and if you want to come back here and we can see what research we have, that would be fine. But I'm also aware of my own capabilities. I'm sure I'm some sort of healer and scientist, but there are far better scientists in the world than my own who would probably more be capable of creating such a cure.
Man, I would have loved to meet you before all these Service folks took over. I bet you were quite the force.
That's very kind of you. I know that Service can, and those of us who follow Service can be different, I suppose, is a simple way of putting it. But sometimes it's just nice to have faith and sort of someone looking over you.
I prefer a bit of critical thinking myself. And I'll look over at Natasha. Is she, like, into this as well? Is she a service follower?
Roll a perception check.
12.
You notice, like, within the study, you know, like, on Bear, on Dade, like, you notice, like, very blatant, like, symbols of service and, like, and, like, the tattoos and all of that. And you do not see any tattoos on Natasha. You do not see any, like, obvious antlers or anything like that on her, or, like, even within, like, her immediate space.
Well, let's say I did bring the flower back. What would it take for you to make a cure?
I would certainly try to make a cure. I just must be honest. I'm not so sure of my abilities to do so. That's, I think, my hang up, I suppose. I would gladly receive it and do my best, as I would. I am comfortable with who I am, and I am comfortable with what I am becoming, but I do know that there are many out there who are not, and I certainly would like to give people option if they desire, but again, I just don't know if my abilities are quite to that standard to do so.
We've had kind of a big day with a lot of information thrown our way. We haven't had a chance, the three of us, just to talk, and would you mind if we, like, you know, had the room?
Well, we could also step out. We could also step outside.
Oh, sure, that too. Would you give us just a second?
Yes, if you all want to step outside, I cannot stop you.
We'll be right back. We're just, you know, we need some time to digest everything we've learned today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to freely do that. As you do that, Loomis, can you go ahead and roll a perception check?
Why Loomis? 13.
You found that you noticed that, like, Natasha, like, was doing that thing where she was, like, looking at you, and then, like, you noticed her looking at you, and then she, like, looked away, and you noticed her doing that, like, once or twice, perhaps.
Okay.
That's it. Like, she would, like, be at her desk, kind of, like, look out into the space, and kind of, like, linger on you for, like, a second, and then, like, went back to her work. And that's what you kind of noticed.
Interesting.
As you all are heading out, outside of the lab.
As we head outside, can I take one last glance, trying to see if she's looking at me still?
Sure. Roll an investigation check on this one.
12.
I think, no, you know, you don't notice, like, anything extra.
Okay.
I just thought it would be good for us to have a second, because things have changed, and I'm seeing red. Nothing anyone says to me here is. This place just feels pathetic to me.
That's fair. I don't doubt you for being angry. I do think it's important to, you know, at least make this distinction that your quest for a cure and this fucking plant, that, like, these are two separate fucking ball games.
I see that. I see that. Except maybe not, because it seems to me like a lot of the resources and benefits of the Dree Split people here are maybe going towards whatever this plant is feeding. And I'm hesitant to put any effort into that if it's just going to go towards growing this plant, which, in our experience, has not been great.
This plant is that thing. It's it. Whatever this old god is that fucking Noxus refuses to fucking tell me anything about, like, this is the macro. Like, I would bet my bottom dollar on it. And
right. I mean, why would the Dree Split people here want to find a cure if our blood is literally feeding this thing and they are all in, service to service? Why would they ever be interested in finding a cure? I'm not sure. I think we're chasing something that no one's going to want that, except maybe the people who aren't following service. We might need to bring this back to, like Dandelion and that whole crew.
My only fear is that I still don't, we are super right to distrust, there could be something more nefarious there probably is something more fucking nefarious going on here in regards to those two subject matters, but the thing I'm worried about is, shit, dog, we've been here for fucking 24 hours, and I already feel like we're stirring up a lot of trouble in this small community, this small group of people. I do think we need to be a little bit more careful, because I don't want those people that we had dinner last night with, they're nice people, and I don't want to get them hurt. I don't want to get them in trouble if we're hey, this town has a big conspiracy, burn it down, and then we just leave and go back to Mistfall. I'm just I think we need to just I don't mean to sound condescending, Emil, when I say this. I think we need to tread more lightly moving forward.
I hear you. And you've constantly been that for me, and thank you for that. I'm sorry I lost my cool today. I can't promise it's not going to happen again, but maybe I should take a back seat from here on out. You both know my plight. You know what I'm here for. We've not been hiding information from each other as far as I know, so I can just, kind of shut up for a little bit. And,
I mean, the problem, Emil, is that we kind of need you in the big Dreesblood town. We kind of need the Dreesblood guy. And again, I'm not trying to, you shouldn't feel stifled in your emotions. These are very valid emotions you're feeling. I guess we're still in I don't know what our end game in this town is. Are we, when we leave this place, what's this town gonna fucking look like when we leave it? Is it gonna look the same, or is it going to be more chaotic?
I know what Helena would want. And I know what Nanoxus would want. Based on what you've told us about what Nanoxus has said, doesn't seem like... I mean, the extreme thing would be to go down there and fucking destroy that pedestal. But, I mean, today's the first time, maybe in a long, long decades, that I felt like pursuing violence for the sake of hurting someone. So I'm not sure that my judgment's best here.
Yeah, I don't think it is, because I am fully confident we've destroyed one pedestal. We could do it again. The problem is then getting out of the town.
Teleportation box.
Hey! It's good to remember that we have that backup plan.
Yeah, it did try to crush us once, so I'm not sure it's the most solid plan.
I'll take the risk again.
I will too. I mean, it could be an eventual thing that we need to think about. And we should check in with Helena just to make sure. I don't want to tell her anything. You're right. I think that might bring down some mayhem into the town. But that's a good plan for us if we need a diversion, to introduce a little bit of mayhem.
Selfishly, I would rather this plant and this pedestal be here than us just destroy it. Because if we just destroy it and we don't get we haven't got any fucking answers. I'd rather it just be this little pocket of, civilization, be able to live and thrive and do whatever the fuck they're doing. If we just fucking wreck that shit, we're not going to learn anything else.
You're right. We don't need to make any decisions today. How about we just go back in, we learn what we can from, there's a historian in there too. Natasha, there's probably something to learn from her. I'll jump in, but if it's okay with you, I'd like to settle down a little bit. I'm not feeling like I'm making my best decisions.
It's fine by me. Let's just kind of focus on this black plant here. This moss.
Okay. I'll look at Limus. And if things go bad, we fight our way out. No,
absolutely. I think we treat this as a fact-finding mission until the people here don't service us anymore. No pun intended.
Haha.
You put on your sunglasses.
All right, let's go talk to Natasha. Ellis, do you mind doing the talking?
Oh, yeah.
We go back in.
Great. You all walk back into the lab and sort of study, and we will end there for tonight. But as things got a little dicey.
Oh, man. Oh, mama.
Oof, duh, what an episode. And I feel like we're just at the beginning of everything. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok and on our website at TCGD Pod. And stay tuned for our next episode, July 3rd.